Apologies once again for the delay in today's episode. I had issues with internet. I was waiting for it to stabilize and then we can start. Apologies once again. I hope you will be working with it to fully restore it so that we can not have any delays again. So as usual, you know the drill. Let's pray and then get started in today's analysis. And we know that today is going to be another great day that you have already planned for us to enjoy and make the money just like you want us to do. We give you praise, Lord, for today's profits as we start to make it, Lord. We thank you for the insights, the market insights that you're giving, the great signals that you're giving us, oh God, and the wisdom and knowledge of the markets and charts that you have bestowed upon us. We give you praise, Lord. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So as usual, you know the drill. We start with Flash 5. Alright, so you let me know if the mic is clear and you have no issues with the sound, or if there's any problem, so that I can sort it out. Alright, so yesterday we saw crash 5 and got, wow, look at that. This was supposed to be our entry right there, and we marked it there as our highs price. I told you the price can mitigate those higher high and then come in for the sell, and you can see it did not reverse from here. It actually went all the way up to those highs and immediately came into sells. That was a good sell, and of course we were looking for the sell yesterday. So those who followed this crash 500 yesterday, you should have made some money, and right now you should be rejoicing on that analysis. So for now, we can now delete everything right there. This was a fair value gap right there. It was not respected, so we can take it out here. And now we sort of have a change of character according to page 4. That is a change of character. Then we are seeing that price is reacting to this confluence area right about there. Price is reacting to that confluence area. So what do we do? Daily is overbought. Then it has come to that level where we have a change of character, and immediately today has started as a buy, and you can see having reached that conference area immediately reversed into buys. So it's going to be a tricky one. Buys are likely to continue according to what you see, because remember on the weekly time frame we have our change of character right there. Prices above 10 both weekly and daily, and I believe even H4 is soon to get to that level, but it's not yet there. Let's wait and see if we are going to see a reversal. Let's see. Right here we left some liquidity on this fair value gap. Sorry Patrick, think there we are good. I hope we are good right there. Yeah, so I hope my sound is now clear. I hope my sound is clear there. Right, I've just increased it. Yeah, I can hear you, Carlos and Patrick. I hope you can now hear me properly. I've just increased my sound and reduced on the background music. I hope that is now clear for you guys. Let me know, and then we can continue. All right, so like I was saying on Crash 500, now we see we have this as our change of character on the daily time frame, and then on the weekly time frame, that is also the same change of character that we see. Prices above our 10 MA, same as a daily time frame, but on H4 it is not yet above our 10 MA. In fact, on H4 we see a change of character to give us a reversal into sales, right? And probably to come to this, we've seen this level as our fib retracement level on the daily time frame. So that is our anticipation, sales to come in, and probably from this order block, it can even go all the way up to try to take these highs and then come in later. But for now, we know that H4 is trying to give us a signal for sales. Can we wait for it? Let's see if we can see. Yeah, I think H1 is still moving, so we know that H1 is moving in the buys. Now that can now confirm with us what we need. M15 and H1 are going to be going all the way up there. Once we are overbought according to M15, then I'll be looking for my buys, I mean my sales, once M15 is overbought. So probably price can push us all the way up there before we can come in with sales. Remember, on H4 this is sort of like a change of character, but it's not confirmed. That's why I can't say it is a clear change of character, because at any time it can give you a fake change of character. You've just seen on the daily that price has reacted on that level as a change of character, confirming that that is a change of character to get us back into the buys, not the sells. You understand? According to daily time frame, this is just a reversal to confirm the change of character for the buys, for the uptrend. But then on H4, this is a change of character to confirm. It's not yet confirmed. It's not yet confirmed for the sales, the reversal for the sales to come, at least grab liquidity that was left here on this fair value gap according to a daily time frame. So it's still a bit tricky for us to, we know that general trend is going to be a buy, but then before we get into the buy, we might first see some sells according to H4. But if they don't happen, know that the general trend is a buy. So this is just an anticipation to grab liquidity on that fair value gap if the market makers decide that they need to first push price to get enough momentum to break these highs. But if price fails to break these highs right here, if price decides to break these highs from here, then we will continue with buys from there. If price fails to reverse from that level right there to come for this sell, then it will continue. If it comes here, the better, then we will have even a better entry for us to grab this money all through. All right, I hope that is clear. Thank you, Patrick. You're saying the sound is now clear. Thank you. All right, so now I think Crash 500 we are in clear. Now we can go to another asset. So before we can go to another asset, I wanted us to see how we can actually scalp this trade today. We can actually look for a buy as it is moving. M15 is yet to reach the retracement level on CCI, meaning anytime from now we're going to see a retracement according to M15, probably on this conference area. Once we see a retracement, it's likely to come around this area, to come around this other conference area, and then we can come in with our short buys to get us right there. So if you're a scalper, this can be your move to anticipate. This can be your move. Know that you can only enter when you see a retracement, and some good retracement to bring about such a level. If you don't see it and it continues, you have no entry. Then you can wait for the sells from this end, or you wait for the breakout and then continue with the buys. So that's how it's going to be traded today. All right, so enough of that. Let's now head over to Boom 1000. We'll come back to it as in the session of recap. Boom 1000. So yesterday with Boom 1000, I told you we needed to sell. Yeah, and the sales came in a bit late. The pullback happened here, but price was not below our 10 MA, so we couldn't enter. You can see that it kept on close to 10 MA until it actually gave us a change of character on H1, which is here, right here. This is our lower high. This is our higher low. Now it has confirmed right here. It is confirming the change of character. So anytime from now, we should be getting into sales, but we need to wait for M15 to start selling, and that can only happen when M15 price goes below our 10 MA. That is only how we can anticipate. Let's see how H4 closed. Okay, the previous H4 closed as a buy, but there was a rejection on that level, on that conference area. So we can wait for this H1 to close, and then we can think of entering our sales. So if H1 closes and the new ones, in fact we have to wait for at least a sell kind of H1 for us to be able to enter, because it can easily trick you. Prices are still way above on our H1 for us to sell, but of course on M15 it is very close to give us an entry. But if you see on CCI, we are in an uptrend according to CCI, so it's a bit tricky for you to use that. That's why I'm saying we can wait for H1 to give us a sell candle, then we can start to think of selling when price is below our 10 MA on M15. But all I know is that sales are going to come through. Why? Because this is a confirmed change of character on H1. Remember on H4 we were looking for this kind of a pullback to come all the way down here before we can come in with the buys, but according to H4, looking on CCI, we needed buys. We are in an uptrend, and this can actually push price all the way up. So that's why I'm saying we have to be patient, because H1 can decide to go down, can decide to continue and break this pennant, and we continue. The general trend is a buy. That's what you need to know. The general trend is a buy, and we are going to end up seeing this kind of a move. But until then, we are still within the internal structure of this pennant. We are still within the internal structure of this pennant. So whatever happens in here, we need to see buys at the end of the at the breakout of this structure. All right, now I can delete this. So let's wait on H1, see what happens. If price breaks these highs up here, know that we are now in the buy trend, and we will continue with the buys. Excuse me. We will continue with the buys if price decides to break this level. Now, I was almost going to close this analysis of Boom 1000, but then I saw something like this. I saw that if I go to M15, I go to M15, something is weird here. This is a change of character on M5 that triggered the buy there. Alright, but then what is happening? Came back to that level, which is a conference area up there. Then according to M30, we are still looking for buys. H1, we need sells. Now I know that we are likely going to continue with buys. The huge percentage, we are going to see buys. We are going to be seeing buys. So please don't be rushed to make any decision of any positions as you make your trades. Don't rush into that. Just hold on and wait for a clear setup, a clear structure. Yes, we see a change of character, but it's not yet confirmed for you to sell. Yes, you see price rejection, but still some little bit more confirmation for you to enter the sells. Yeah, because right here there's another rejection right here on the support, sort of that order block, which became a support when price reacted to it right here. So just hold on with your positions. We all love selling this asset, but buying it is even better. So just hold on. We may get a buy entry when price breaks this level, but then if H1 goes below a 10 MA, we will even get a better entry for the sells. So just hold on and wait. Boom 500. Boom 500, let's see. We needed a retest, a pullback here, then we enter buys. That's what we needed. This retest happened yesterday and it reached the TP today morning. As you can see, according to your analysis, reach there, we get a pullback to this level. You can see this move here, and then we start the buys, and now the buys have started. In fact, this should be giving us an entry. So I need to delete this and this, and then now I need to first go to H4C. H4 says we need sells and prices below a 10 MA, but before we reach there, according to H1, we need to first get up there, but price is still below a 10 MA. So what are we seeing? Prices below a 10 MA even on M15. Now that becomes a tricky one to anticipate. So I will wait for reaction, rejection, confirmation right here, or a reversal kind of signal according to M5, and that's how I will be entering. Because remember, a new H4 has just started. New H4 candle has just started. It is a sell. Up there you can see there's a lot of rejection, but looking at this candle also, there was a rejection coming in from the support area here, right here, right there. So it's still for grabs. The market movers or the market makers can decide to push price anywhere they want according to where they are seeing liquidity. Remember, there is a fair value gap there, that is liquidity up for grabs. But also down here, there are those early buyers who entered right here. They can easily be taken out, or even those who entered right here and they have their stop losses right here, they can still come for them and then push that. So be ready when we don't rush into it. Still just wait for M15 or M5 to give us a reversal signal. Once M5 is oversold right here, I believe we'll be having a reversal signal, and even M15, by then I believe it will be almost above our 10 MA, and that will be our signal for buy entries. So for now, no business, but today we are likely to enter this kind of a buy, the kind of a buy that will eventually break this conference area to reach that liquidity level or that fair value gap, where we can grab the liquidity and then come in with the sales just like we need on H4 and of course daily time frame. So the general trend is going to be a sell, but we can't sell now because there's still much to do around this area before we start to sell again. Just as we were talking, there's a spike that has just happened. Look at that. Look at that. A new M15 candle has just started 7 minutes ago, and a spike has come through. So you never know. Now M5 price is above our 10 MA. All we need is a confirmation, a reversal kind of confirmation for us to make this buy come through. So that's what we want. So until then, no business at all. V25S. This is a bit messy. So we know that we need sales. And by the way, congrats to those that entered yesterday's trade, those who were on the live stream. I think this is one of those assets that we made an entry. Let me see. Yeah, this is one of those. So yesterday's analysis was very simple. It had reacted to this and we knew that the buy was coming in, but then I told you we had actually three TP levels. No, 2 TP levels. This was our first TP level and that was our second TP level. So we entered. Of course our stop loss was here. I remember one of us yesterday said that we had our risk to reward ratio was, like 1-to-1. Yeah, it was a weird risk to reward ratio. Yeah, because it was a short one, that's why I had to put my stop loss all the way here. So I remember explaining that. But then it even went ahead to hit our second TP, which was now giving us a better one. This would have been this was our entry right here and that stop loss was here. So that means that this was our first our 1-to-1 there, then a 1-to-2 around there. So we actually hit 1-to-2 according to what we had analyzed here yesterday. So that was a good trade. So I hope you guys were in it already. So after that, we are supposed to enter sales immediately. I didn't enter when it reached there. I still monitored it. This was supposed to be my perfect entry right there for this kind of a sell, but you can see the maneuver that was around. It was a bit, it was still having no much momentum there. You can see it. Wait a minute, no, it was not this entry. This was our entry. This was our first TP. This was our second TP. This was our third TP. Sorry, I was in M15. Apologies guys, I was in M15. So this was our first TP, this was our second TP, and that was our third TP. Now according to H1, we're supposed to be looking for sells. Yeah, and now we have this as our resistance level right there. So if I go to H4, I need sells. If I go to daily time frame, I need sells. Weekly time frame, I need sells. So we are left with a confirmation in M15 to get us into sells. So what are we waiting for? Let's see what is price waiting for to give us that kind of an entry So we just give it some time. It's still sort of consolidating in some way or another, but we know that sales are going to come through later, so we can't enter now. Let's first use some price action here. Let's see, delete this, delete that. So what do we have? High, high, high. This is our current higher low right here. So price, if price breaks it, that will be our change of character according to H1. According to H4, same thing, that will be our higher low here. Now you haven't broken it, and even price is still above our 10 MA, but down here on H1 we are below our 10 MA, which is a good thing for us. So anytime from now we need just a breakout, then we can enter our sales to push sales probably to this level, and then we start to talk some business here, because remember we have our lower high here. Price has to break it to confirm the reversal signal according to H4. So if price breaks it, and that will be our reversal signal confirmation, and then we can start to think of sales in a long term. So for now, no business with this asset, but we know that we need sales to bring us all the way where? To this level right here. Remember, it is coming right there. That's where we want price to reach, that order block. Then we can think of even pushing it all the way down below here. So if you are one of those guys that have some good big account, this is your moment to make that entry and put your stop loss above here. If you're one of those guys who have a big account, you can put your stop loss right here, enter now with a sell, and hold it for like a week. It can even take a month. Yeah, you hold it from there to reach all the way here. That will be your TP. This will be your first TP, this will be your second TP, and you'll be in some good huge money if you can hold for that long. All right, enough of VS25S. Let's leave it on H1. Let's move to V75. So V75, you remember this kind of a trade I told you about? I actually missed the entry. I told you this was coming. Did I miss the entry or I entered it? I missed to enter. But you remember I told you about it, that it was going to come to this, and it even exceeded it and went to our previous breaker block, which was this, this was our breaker block. It went all the way up to that level. It even exceeded, so the buys continued. And clearly, if you are using H1, you will see that that will be like your change of character. Why? Because this is our previous lower high right there, and it has been taken out, so that becomes our change of character right about there. But then price continued. Now it is trying to come back for the sales. So let's first go to H. First remove these. First remove these. First remove that. Let's now go to H4. H4. Price has come back to that fair value gap, so I want to delete this. Now we know that there is a support area there. Then now I want to come to this fair value gap right here and check it out. Have we gone to 50%? Yes, we've reached the 50%, so it has grabbed that liquidity. So sales now continue. Sales continue. It has grabbed that liquidity. 50% is right there where this dot is. 50% of that fair value gap, and now it has started to sell. Do we have a confirmation of sales? According to M15, we don't. All we need is a pullback, and then we are in for the sell. All we need is just a pullback, then we come in with our sells. This is one of the levels that it can decide to react on and go back in for the retest. So if it decides to do like there, so we can use that as our fib, and then we anticipate a pullback. Let's see. So probably around either on this level or on that. So that is one of the levels. These are two levels the price can react back to, and then give us the entry for the sells. Give us the entry for the sells. So I will leave my anticipation allows right there to just direct me when I come back to this asset. So I'll be waiting for that kind of a pullback. It can easily give you a fake breakout down here, remember that, and then come in with a buy again, and that can be confirmed on M5. You can see M5 is reaching oversold level, meaning the buy or the retracement buy is going to be happening very soon. That will be a scalping buy for you to reach at least there or there, and then you can anticipate the sales to continue according to M15, H1 and H4. By the way, you may see it as if it touched, but it did not touch. So it is going to continue selling because it did not touch that oversold level on CCI. So that's why the sales are still very strong. J50. Oh, this one did not go as anticipated. This was all right. Let's first put the name here. Jump 50. Apologies. So J50, we wanted a pullback here, but then I told you that if price breaks that high, of course the buys will continue. So we had that as our resistance here, as our support trend line, but we did not have a resistance trend line, and the anticipation was price to react here and fail to break that high, and then we come in with a sell, and that did not happen. Actually, price went ahead and broke that level and continued with the buys. So all this has no meaning now, so we can delete everything right here. But then this move is still on. Not really, even this is not on, but that move from that angle, that's where we are currently. Price to to give us sales from that level, and we clearly see it on H1 that the sales have started. According to H1, that will be considered as a change of character or a double top right there, but it's still not okay for us to make any entries yet. M15 is still selling, and this will tell you exactly why it is still selling. So price eventually is still within this, and it's likely to break out and give us this kind of a move. it's likely to break out and give us this kind of a move. So as you are still looking for sales, remember that this move is likely to come through. Is likely to come through. Now down here we have a change of a fair value gap, so that can easily tell us that price can actually come for that right there, 50% right there, and then we get into the buys right like that. So now I'm comfortable with this analysis, and then from there, according to H1 and H4, go to daily, drag it, so according to H4, we'll be looking for that, something like that. So price to react, there, and then we come in with a sell. So we have to be patient. We have to be patient, but we know that sales are coming in anytime from now. So for us to, I would advise for you to wait for the buy when price at least reacts to this level or this level and gives you an entry. But all we know is there's gonna be buys to first continue at least above there to grab some liquidity of the early sellers, the stop losses of the early sellers, and then we come in later with a sell. We are going to sell this for some good time, that is J50. So be patient and just wait and see how the sales are going to come through once it finishes to grab that liquidity above there. All right, enough of J50. Let's go to J25. Now the J25 was one of those that was a good trade for me. Now I first sold it. Those who remember, I think we first entered a sale when we were online. I don't remember if we entered a sale together, but we first sold it right here. That was a sale to come. I was supposed to, my TP was supposed to be here, but when it hit that, I immediately closed, because most of the times if it had already given you 3 points and it is a flag, most of the times it reverses immediately to go into the buys, and that's what happened. So I quickly closed my sell entries and entered buys. But then when I entered buys, I entered with a tight stop loss, and I was quickly taken out. Right there you can see it was very tight, and then once it broke out, I again entered, and that one I left it to run all the way to the TP level, and that's how I took that money yesterday home. That was J25. So I hope you guys, those who followed the analysis, you also made that money, because the market followed what we exactly analyzed right here. So now I can easily delete these. Even this flag can go, and that also. And now all we need now to know is H4. What is happening? H4, we need sales. This is a confirmation of the change of character. We have a higher high, this is a higher low. Price has reacted back to this order block right here. So what is happening? Why is this candle a sell? Let's first go to daily. So daily is not yet confirming. Price is below our 10 MA. H1 price is below our 10 MA, and H4. So what is happening? Alright, so M15 is not yet ready. So we wait for M15 to give us the buys. Once we have the M15 ready for the buys, then we will be coming in with buys to give us a new higher high. Why? Because this is a break of structure right here. That is a break of structure right there. And remember, we had our change of character right here. This was our change of character right there. That is a lower low, lower high, then break of that lower high. And now we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So before this H4 candle closes, we should be getting back into the buys to look for a new higher high. Alright, so now that is very clear, so we can wait on M15 to give us the entry for the buys. J10 is one of those that J10 is also one of those that we waited for it and actually paid off. So all I wanted was a pullback here. This was my pullback, and I think I first entered here when we were in the analysis, and I brought my stop loss into break even, and then it took me out right there on break even. But once it did that, I had again entered right there. I had entered a second entry, so it closed me out on one entry, and I stayed in with that other entry that I had not broken even. And you can see it paid off. It went ahead to hit my target right there, just like I had told you yesterday that will be my target. And that's how that target was hit perfectly. Remember this right here. Let me first delete this. Remember, right here is your change of character. Right there, that is your change of character. And then price came, tested, and went ahead to give us now apparently our higher high right there. That is our higher high, and this would be taken as your break of structure, external break of structure right about there according to H1. When you go to H4, things change a little bit. Why? Because we started our buy trend from this level when it gave us that change of character there, because this is our lower low. This was never our lower low, that was just a low. Why? Because our previous lower low is this, meaning it gave us a lower low, lower high, tried to look for a new lower low, it failed, and then boom, it broke our previous lower high here to give us our higher high, higher low, tried to give us a higher high, failed, came back, tested, and then broke out to give us our higher high here, higher low. Now it's looking for a new higher high right up there. So that's how we are, that's what we are doing, that's the current trend of this asset. We are looking for buys. So in as much as we are looking for buys currently, you can see there's some price rejection, there's low momentum, even though yesterday we made that money, but today there's a pullback certainty. There's going to be, we can anticipate a pullback, and we can use our fib to anticipate that pullback. Yeah, of course, since it is a break of structure, it can easily come to this level, but then if it left some liquidity, it can come for the such liquidity. So for instance, we have this here. This is one of those levels of fib retracement between 50 and 61.8, but sometimes it can easily even come to 70, is it 71, 70 something, 73 something %, just around this level, to grab that to give us a retracement, because anything below 50% is a discount zone, meaning you can get your entries for the buys. You can get entries for the buys. So be ready for anything like that. Let me leave this marked and then take off the fib. That's what I'll be anticipating. Price to react back here, and then we continue with the buys. So let's confirm that sell. Is it confirmed yet? H4 is currently reaching overbought up there on CCI. If you go to H1, same thing, overbought up there on CCI. If you go to M15, it's overbought still, looking at that right there, meaning everything is pointing us to sells currently, apart from M30, of which we don't normally trade according to M30. Once M15 is following what is on MH4, then we start to look for entries to sell. So all I need is now M5. M5 has given us a break of structure. That is weird. That is a break of structure on M5. So until M5 gives us a change of character, there's nothing we can do to sell. So no business with this asset. So M5 is giving us a break of structure, but on M15 that's not a break of structure. All we need is price to break this level, and that means we start the sells to come, really get in with sells to take us all the way to this very level. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So it would have been a good entry for a sniper right there, but I'm not convinced yet. Price is still above our 10 EMA, so that's why I'm not entering. Yes, I have a change of character on M1, so now I can use M1 actually to look for my entry. So all I need is a pullback to confirm this change of character on M1, and this pullback is likely to come back all the way to this order block. It can come to this order block, it can come to this fair value gap in between here. So whatever it decides to do, I will wait, but I'm going to anticipate the order block, and I know already the fair value gap is there, so if it comes to that, still I'll be waiting. So, and then I come in with my sells. This is according to M1. So if you're going to follow M1, this is your structure, this is your setup that you have to wait for, and you get in with the sells. If price breaks this order block, then you have no business, you just wait. All right, lastly is gonna be gold. Lastly is gold. We made money, but he actually closed here. Remember, I closed, let me see, I think I closed early. Yeah, I closed early there yesterday where we were in the analysis. I closed that, but then when it came to this level, I told you that I will be waiting to make another entry. So it reached up here, down here, and I made an entry to buy, and it actually went all the way back to this level. I had broken even, it came back to my break even and took me out. But then today morning I found it when it had returned to it, and that was another entry for me, because this would be like a triple bottom down below here, to confirm that I need to enter my buys. Remember, we will move history, delete that. Remember, the move that we are looking for is the move to go and grab that liquidity up there. That is the move that we are looking for. The move to go up there, grab that liquidity, and then we come in with sells. That's what we are looking for. And going to H4, remember if it decides to continue to sell and grabs liquidity here, then this move here will not have any importance at all. We will not even be looking for it. But if it stays the way it is according to H1 and goes for this kind of a buy, then it's likely to come there, and then, or in fact it may not reach there because we have a change of character. It may come for this right here. It can easily come for this right here. So wherever it chooses to reach, we know that it's just a pullback, and then we come in with a sell. So right here, I can choose to break even, or I can choose to wait for price to be above my 10 EMA, then I break even. But if it decides, it can easily first go for this liquidity down below here, and then we come in with a buy. Remember, that is the analysis that we have here. We've been waiting for this. We've been actually following this analysis for some good days. Pull back to come to this, grab liquidity on this fair value gap, and then get back into the buys. That's the plan. That's why you see this and that. But then we have an internal structure, and that internal structure, we have this, there's that fair value gap. They may actually draw the one on H4 right there, price to reach that, and then come for that, and then we get back in the buys just according to this very move. All right, I believe now we are good to go. We are now ready. So I'm already in some buys on gold, although I see that I should take my profits because it seems buys are going to be held up. There's a strong high here, so price is likely not to break it. So after seeing something like that, I can easily break even or take my profits. Let me just break even. Let me just break even there and just wait and see, because that there is likely to actually push me for the continuation. Is likely to push us for this continuation. In fact, it's coming in for the continuation. Now that I've seen that, we are going to sell this asset. We are selling this asset. It's coming in with a continuation. Of course, we can first come for that right there as our first TP, but we know that our second TP is right on this very aloe, which is our 50% of this fair value gap. So we know sales are likely to come through. We are likely not to see this fake breakout to come and grab liquidity here and then continue the sell. We are likely not to see it, just from what I've just seen in this consolidation. So let's wait and see. Fingers crossed. I'm in with a buy. I am already in some good profits. I can choose to close now, but I've already broken even, so I'm not worried. But then if price fails to break this level here, enter sells immediately. If price fails to break this previous high, enter sells immediately, because sales will be coming through. Sales will be coming through. Know that. All right, let's now do a recap and we call it a day. This has been gold. Sorry, I forgot to put the name, but that has been gold that we were analyzing. So now let's go for the recap and we call it a day. So we started with crash 500. We are looking for this pullback, and then we enter buys. But if price breaks this level, then we have no business. It continues with the buys. Remember, on H1 we need it there, and H4 it can easily come in with sales either here, but also it can decide to break and continue. Why? Because on the daily time frame and the weekly time frame, the general trend is a buy. You understand that? So price has reached that level, but then we wanted a pullback here, and we can continue the buy, or When we reach here, we get into a sell, and then we follow the H4 to react and grab liquidity on this fair value gap according to daily time frame. So it's still a bit tricky for us, but we all know that daily, weekly, we're looking for buys. H4, we are looking for a retracement trend, and it's likely to happen very, very soon. All right, boom 1,000. All right, now we are talking. So rejection right there, I think it is enough for us to make an entry. H1 is still above our 10 MA, but M15 something is still weird. Something is not right here. So first go back to H1. Yeah, I don't want to be caught off guard. I know H1 I need sells, H4 I need buys, and H1 and M15, they both are saying we need to look for buys. So why am I looking for sells? H1 says I need sells, M30 says I need buys, so I need buys. I need buys. That was a change of character right here on M5. Now it has given us a pullback here. So can we wait for M5 to give us buys? I think so. We can't do that. So it's a bit tricky. And the boom 1,000 is quite a big one, so I can't just just enter and put a small stop loss. Still not applicable. Remember, it doesn't respect our stop losses. So the heavy the momentum of that spike, that's how much you will lose. That's how much it will take. If you are looking for sales, it will take that much. If your stop loss probably was here and you had entered sales, and it then makes that spike, and this spike here you were looking at probably $5 of loss, but then the spike goes into like $30, it will go for that much to get $30 minus 5, and then the rest is loss. 25, you're in that much loss on this very asset. So it's a very risky one. So you need to understand that. So I am not entering this asset, even though I know we may get in some sales later, but according to what we've seen on M15 and H4, we need to look for buys, that's for sure. And that's why you see even the spikes are coming through, and price now is above our 10 MA on M5. So I'm gonna be forced to do something like this. So there's gonna be a call. There's going to be what? There's going to be a consolidation. So now I know buys are on, but then we are going to first consolidate. We are likely to first consolidate, then we come in with some good buys to actually give us such a momentum move later, something like that. So that's what I can anticipate right on boom 1,000. All right, so enough of that, leave it on M15. Let's now go to boom 500 and look at how we've missed that entry. Just like how I planned it, it has happened. So please, if you had followed this through just like we had anticipated, the buy is on, and I think I'm going to enter. Should I enter? Let me go to M1 and see. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be entering. I missed this perfect entry. You can see it went exactly where we had anticipated and immediately gave us the buy there. And this buy, it is going all the way up there. That is where this buy is headed to. So I can decide to make my it has spiked again before I enter. I cannot enter now. Yeah, I've missed that. I was supposed to enter there before it spiked again, so I've missed that, so I cannot enter. So congrats to anyone who got that entry perfect. I missed it. I delayed to enter even here when it had given me this other entry, this before it spiked again. So my bad, I'm out of that. I cannot trade it again. V25s still consolidating, so no business, don't focus on it, we'll keep waiting for it. Then the buy is happening here anytime from now. We need this as a pullback, so are we ready for that? M5 is almost ready, M1 not yet ready, but it will be. So we will be looking for this pullback or retest kind of buy, and then we enter sales. So for now we just wait. That is V75. This one, it is within a flag, so we know that that is happening. So when it reaches there, you can either come in with your sell to come and try to grab liquidity on this fair value gap, and then later you come in with a buy, or you can wait for the buys because the general trend is a buy. J25, you have a change of character here on M15 and price has reacted back to it. We should be entering with a buy according to H1 and M15 and H4. So looking at price action, we should be entering a buy. We should be entering a buy, but price is coming from an overbought level. It's coming from an overbought level, so it's a little bit crazy for us to enter, but I think I'm going to enter and I'll put my stop loss here. Why am I going to do that? Because of this change of character right here, but it can easily still trick me and tell me that that is also a change of character, and it goes just around here to later come in with a sell. So that's how tricky this is. So that's why I cannot enter. That's why I cannot enter. I was supposed to enter buys here, but since once I've seen this can become the change of character to actually enter sells. So I rather leave it and have a confirmation for the sell, or I have price break this level for me to enter buys. That is the only way I can make an entry on this asset. That is the only way I can make entry on this asset. Alright, enough of that. J10, the sales should be in now. I think we can enter sales, can we? We wanted that pullback, it has happened, but then what is holding us? What is holding us? What is holding us? What is holding us? We are in an uptrend, so if the general trend is an uptrend, it's very risky for us to just enter in trying to look for a sniper entry. So we need to wait for price to be below a 10 MA. So that's why we can't enter now. So we have to wait for price to be below a 10 MA, since it is just a retest trade. The general trend is a buy, so this kind of a sell that we are looking for is just going to be a retest trade. So no business here. We wait for price to be below our 10 MA. And lastly is gold. Already a buy. A buy already, but like I've told you, there's a strong high there on M15. We are likely to come and continue with sells. We are likely not to see this move, but if it breaks that high there, then the buys are going to continue to come either to this fair value gap or to that one there, and then we come in with the sells. Be ready for that as we wait. So this is the other move right there. All right, that's it for today. See you guys. Remember to use proper risk management, and don't forget to Always like the stream, and don't forget, of course, if it is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, and of course click the bell button to always receive all notifications from this very channel. Let me wish you guys a good day. I'm not going to do a BTC analysis because I have another meeting at 1. So see you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 10:30 to 11:30. I hope my internet won't have the same issues like it did today. Have a good day. Bye bye.